What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas Nemeziz Messi 17.1 in what has been dubbed the Argentina colorway, even though it's technically part of the Ocean Storm pack. And I do have some comments in regards to the colorway that we'll talk about in the video. We'll also go over tech specs as well as how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $225 retail price. Being a top-end model, a string bag is included, black mesh, black strings, Messi and Adidas logos on the front. Really quickly, I just wanted to talk about the colorway. This is, of course, part of the Ocean Storm pack, which means that it actually has that same teal color you'd normally find as an accent on the Ocean Storm Nemeziz, but instead on this shoe, it's kind of the main color with a white base and this dark purpley blue Adidas stripes that honestly just look black in person. And pretty much all the pictures that I've seen, and even when Messi's wearing the shoes on TV, it does look like it's Argentina sky blue, but in person and hopefully in this video, given that I adjust the colors properly, it's actually like a teal color. So you can see the crest right here that I'm wearing, this Argentina jersey, that's the Argentina blue. And then look at the color of the shoes. It's a completely different shade, much darker, more of a green rather than a blue. So it does match kind of in terms of how it looks on TV, but in person, if you're expecting this to be sky blue and white, unfortunately that is not the case. Not to say that these look bad at all. So white base, as you can see, it's got the Messi branding and the Torsion Tapes, normally where you would have the Nemeziz logos on a standard Nemeziz colorway, have the Messi branding and the Nemeziz logo there on the back. And then of course the sole plate is translucent white with more of that teal color accenting on the bottom, as well as the translucent teal for the studs themselves. So all in all, I actually think it's a pretty good looking colorway. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. So of the models in Messi's current signature line, the Messi Nemeziz variations, this is the version of the shoe that's closest to what Messi himself actually wears, with the lacing system rather than the 17 Plus, that of course is a laceless model. But if you've ever seen any close-up pictures of Messi's shoes that he actually wears in-game and practice, they don't have a one-piece construction, so it is a custom version of the shoe, meaning that you can buy this model, it's the closest thing to what Messi wears, but you can't actually buy the exact same version of the shoe that you see him wearing on TV. Nonetheless, it's still a very interesting package as a whole, and it does have differences in comparison to the standard Nemeziz 17.1 that we'll talk about right now. One of the more significant differences between the regular and Messi variations of this shoe is the Agility Knit 1.0 on the Messi version versus the Agility Knit 2.0 that you'll find on the standard Nemeziz. So the main difference here is that this is actually the carryover base synthetic found on the previous generation of Messi's signature model, the 16 Plus as well as the 16.1, and technically you had it in the 16.2 as well. It's still a mesh-based synthetic, a little bit thicker than what you get from the Agility Knit 2.0 on the Nemeziz 17.1, the standard version of the shoe. You have it here in the forefoot toe box area, basically in front of the torsion tape. You can see the segmentation very clearly, and then you do have a little bit more of that material here at the heel, although that's not as important because it's backed by a plastic heel counter. So basically just this toe area is the difference, and as far as the touch that it provides on the ball, it is on the thinner side, and this does feel, in my opinion, a little bit better than what we got from the Messi 16.1 and 16 Plus with its Agility Knit upper. There seems to be some very minor tweaks here. It's a little bit thicker than what you'll find from the Agility Knit 2.0, but if you're asking my preference, I do prefer the Agility Knit 2.0 on the standard version of the shoe, although the difference, I will say, is fairly minimal. The other and perhaps more significant difference between the Messi and regular version of the shoe is going to be the sole plate and stud pattern, which if you're familiar with the standard Nemeziz, you'll immediately notice that this isn't a torsion frame. Instead, it's a sprint frame, again, taken directly from the previous generation Messi signature model, the 16.1 and the 16 Plus. So, because it is a sprint frame, it has a little bit of a different feel. I would say that this is on the thinner side, slightly more flexible, and it does impact the weight ever so slightly, but of course you do have the Messi stud pattern as well, coming from basically the Messi 15.1, 16.1, and now on the Messi Nemeziz 17.1. So it's the same layout you'll find across the entire Adidas brand, still technically FG-AG. You can see the stud tips themselves are conical towards the front, as you can see, the very front ones, and then the very back ones are conical in shape, and then the rest of the studs are kind of triangular in shape, but they're fairly small, a lot smaller in profile than what you'll find on the standard Nemeziz stud pattern. So they dig into the ground a little bit more easily. You could argue this is a slightly more aggressive stud pattern, but again, I would say the overall difference in terms of performance traction-wise is fairly minimal. While this does have a different feel to it, I definitely do prefer the standard Soleplate and stud pattern on the regular Nemeziz over what you get on the Messi model. But again, that is purely personal preference. The third and final difference between the regular Nemeziz 17.1 and the Messi variation is going to be the weight. The regular 17.1 weighs in at about 7.5 ounces in a size 9 US, where the Messi variation, mainly due to the sprint frame sole plate, I think that's the reason why these are a little bit lighter, weigh in at 7.2 ounces, 0.3 ounces less, which is a fairly minor difference if we're being completely honest with ourselves. I think on feet, it's pretty much impossible to tell a difference between the two in regards to weight. They both feel very lightweight. They're both very, very comfortable shoes. And as far as the weight difference impacting performance in any way at all, I just don't think that it should be a deciding factor whatsoever. They're light, and that's really all you need to know. You get that with both versions of the shoe. The rest of the shoe is identical to what you would find on the regular Nemeziz 17.1. You have the torsion tapes here where it says Messi going on a diagonal right here, basically cutting across the forefoot and then cutting across the back of the heel midfoot area, kind of creating an X, if you will, at the base of the shoe, although because it's not translucent, you don't actually get to see that. Those are your structural elements to the upper, while still maintaining a soft feel, although the touch on this is different in comparison to the touch on that. This feels a little bit more padded overall. And then through the midfoot area, you're gonna find some of those agility bandages on the lateral side, kind of making up that side wall of the shoe. It continues all the way across the very top right here, where you have a fully exposed one that is fully elasticated. But basically on this side, where you actually see the agility bandage branding, this whole chunk that's completely white underneath, ignore those stripes, they're purely cosmetic, going all the way across the top of the foot and then ending at this seam right here. That's just one chunk of elasticated material, and it is left completely uncovered with any kind of polyurethane covering where the laces are positioned, basically directly through the middle. The lacing system, of course, a signature of the 17.1, uses a dual lace hole setup, and it really does make a big difference in terms of overall lockdown when compared to the 17 Plus. I do prefer the overall fit, feel, and general performance characteristics in regards to stability, lockdown, and general responsiveness with the 17.1. The lacing system really does go a long way. You have this kind of unusual low cut here with this V shape. A lot of people get concerned about that. That's not something that you notice whatsoever, but the back does come up a little bit higher, particularly this stitching right here across the back. That can cause some discomfort, some rubbing for a lot of people. I know it was a minor issue with me. So during the break-in process, if you do get some blistering right there for the first couple of wears, that's not uncommon at all. And once those blisters heal, it's unlikely to be an issue for you whatsoever. On the underside of this elasticated piece, you do have the little silicone dots just to help it from sliding around on you. The heel liner is a nice smooth synthetic suede material with a good amount of padding, very, very comfortable, and just great lockdown in the heel area in general. You're gonna find that the upper is covered in the non-stop grip dots, which is perhaps a little bit difficult to see on this particular colorway. Very, very subtle feature, Adidas's wet control element that, again, like most wet control elements, I don't think really has much to do with anything. And that's pretty much it in terms of what's on the outside of the shoe. It does have a removable insole, which I'll show you that as well. It's got this really soft lining material on top, the Messi logo right there, perforations through the heel and forefoot area, and it's just a single layer of this white foam, pretty much the standard comfort insole from the Adidas brand. So that's pretty much it in terms of what the Nemeziz Messi 17.1 is all about. Pretty much the same as the regular one, just with a little bit of a different toe area, a different sole plate, a different stud pattern, and a slightly lighter feel. That is so slight that you really won't notice a difference. All right, so as you can see, I swapped out the stock teal laces for some black reflective SR4U replacement laces, which match perfectly and accent really well with the black Adidas stripes on the lateral side of the shoe. So if you are interested in a pair of laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen, as well as a link down below in the description of this video. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the Nemeziz Messi 17.1 is a really comfortable shoe out of the box. Like I mentioned earlier, the only thing that gave me a little bit of an issue with the break-in process is this back heel piece, mainly the stitching right there. That can cause some blistering for some people just because it does come up a little bit higher and it does have a slightly stiffer construction, but that's something that goes away quite quickly and you get used to pretty easily. Everything else though, really comfortable out of the box. The upper feels nice and soft. As far as the agility unit 1.0 at the toe versus the 2.0, it's not something that you can really feel a difference on feet. You do notice it on the ball a little bit, but on feet, the general shape, fit, and feel of the shoe is identical to that of the regular version. As far as width is concerned, it's got some decent width to it. It's not an overly tight-fitting shoe at all. A lot of people want to compare these to Mercurials and Hypervenoms, and it's definitely more Hypervenom in terms of the overall width of the shoe, maybe even a little bit wider and higher volume. So it's one of those shoes that will fit most people quite comfortably. If you have really wide feet, maybe these might give you some issues, but for most people, you're not going to have too many problems with the fit whatsoever. And as far as sizing is concerned, my usual size is a size 9 US. That's what I'm wearing in this particular shoe, and the fit and the length is pretty much perfect. So if you are looking to get a pair, I'd recommend going true to size for the best possible fit. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review of the Adidas Nemeziz Messi 17.1. For those of you that will ask, my preference between the Messi version of the shoe and the standard Nemeziz 17.1 would be the standard variation for two main reasons. I actually do prefer the Agility Knit 2.0 over the 1.0 on the Messi variation, and I also prefer the torsion frame and general stud pattern that you get on the regular version versus this Messi variation of the shoe. Is it a significant difference where I love the Nemeziz 17.1 and hate the Messi variation? Absolutely not. I'd really just be just as happy to wear the Messi variation of the shoe, but given the choice, I would personally prefer the standard version, although I don't think that there is a bad choice or a wrong choice in this particular situation. That's pretty much it though, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Again, if you're interested in this shoe for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $225 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comment section and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. All my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.